Hey everybody, it's been a little while. I haven't posted any videos. I was kind of like all crazy into doing some stuff in August, and now it is here in October, going into November, and haven't really done much of anything. I did go to I was going to go down and see Eric down at that local tournament, ClawCon, but I ended up not going to Missouri. I did stay at a local event. I ended up tying, well, I won. Me and Tim Lonis had the same battle points, but I ended up getting a win. I did try to do some battle reports on that. I think I have the first one, but in all honesty, it's not much to look at. I played against Ryan's finish. He was the ringer army because Ryan was the guy putting the event on, and I didn't bring any terrain or anything, so I kind of showed up out of the norm. And they didn't account for that, so I ended up playing the first game on kind of like just a table with some like paper cutouts. It was fun to go. I'm glad I went because it kind of reinvigorated me into bolt action. Not bolt action, I've always had a passion for that, but reintegrated myself into gearing up and playing. Sometimes you go through some ruts. You know, you got work and kids and wife and family and football starting and kids soccer, or not soccer, volleyball and things, and you just get sidetracked. You get all these projects kind of sitting on hold. So it kind of got me back into that. I'm working on my Romanians. I'm going to Operation Sting in 2 weeks, November 3rd and 4th. It's a 2-day event. I'm not sure if it's Warlord sanctioned or not. It should be. It's one of the best events, I think, in North America. Not that I've been to all of them, but it's really a great event. And the theme this year, they're doing 1943, so it's a mid-war. You can use theater selectors, 1,250 points, single platoon. And last year, if you remember, when I went, I did all the battle reports. Doing battle reports in a packed tournament can be a little bit tough, so I just kind of narrated them. But if you watch those videos, you can see that all the terrain was top-notch. They really go all out. A lot of these guys are also associated with Adepticon in Chicago. Brent is the one who's running this, but so a lot of the Adepticon people who run Adepticon are going to be there. So it's always a great chance to go test your mettle against top-notch players, and it's also just good fun. Last year, I placed, I believe, 3rd overall. Paul Stewart placed 2nd overall, if I remember correctly. John Stentz, I believe, won. I know it's John. The best Axis player last year was that 6 flamethrower German list with all the half tracks. So that was kind of brutal. But he didn't win best overall. I mean, he got dinged on the theme score quite a bit because it's theme composition, not just theme. But anywho, I'm taking a Romanian list. It's nothing fancy. I had earlier on in the year, I thought about like a dozen different things I could do. I've been experiencing a lot of success with larger squads since the 2nd edition drop. Making close combat bodies, I feel like they're more important, and then getting that full strength reroll has actually come into play quite a bit. So my army theme basically is going to be passing morale checks and getting my opponents to fail them. So nothing's really super fancy with the Romanians. There's no big like, aha, I can really. You could make a very one-dimensional list with the Romanian list because you get to choose one unit out of the German book. Can't be heavy artillery, and it can't be a veteran. And so I have some various combos that I like with the Romanians. When I first started, I thought, well, I can make 4 medium howitzers, take a medium mortar or a heavy mortar even, and just sit back and bomb. That's not a very fun game or dynamic game. But what I'm going to go with is I'm taking just a 2nd lieutenant. I've got 2 10-man veteran squads. They have 2 selections. They have motorized infantry, and they have late war infantry. The late war infantry can be up to 14 men strong. You can make them veteran or regular. So the motorized infantry, I'm taking the 10-man squads, and I'm taking them at veteran. I'll have the full strength rule, so I'll get to re-roll failed morale checks with them until they lose a casualty. My play style, I tend to enjoy veteran squads and putting them in harm's way to delay an enemy or to kind of like just push them. And I always end up in a lot of games with one of those, and they just take so much damage. It allows my other stuff to kind of have free reign, but that unit is basically ineffective. So I'm taking two. I'm hoping to maybe work them in tandem. I have two inexperienced trucks. I don't like inexperienced trucks so much. The Romanians don't have an option for a machine gun for their trucks. So there will be a lot of games I think where I will start with those trucks on the board, loaded with a veteran infantry squad. If there's no prep bombardment. And that can be risky, but I know that Operation Sting has a lot of terrain. So I should have some nice places to hide behind. They also have a lot of hedges. I knew last year Operation Sting I was kind of mad at myself for not having more half-tracks. Again, the Romanians don't have a lot of half-track support. I think my German lists that I'm planning to take to the Renegade Open with the Snafu podcast guys would fare really well at Sting. But I think I wrote down Romanians a long time ago, and I don't like to change up what I'm bringing. Although they're both Axis, I think it would fit because they do red versus blue at this event. So here's what I got. I'll keep going. So the 8 veteran infantry squads, all they have, they're all rifles. They have a 1 Panzerfaust in there. So that gives them a bit of a. I could use them against anti-armor, sort of, if in a pinch. It's worth the 10 points. Romanians cost 10 points. So 2 veteran squads with rifles. Then I have 2 14-man regular squads. And I thought about doing it the other way around, having a 14-man veteran squad because the late war squads can take up to 4 submachine guns in them. I thought about, boy, that'd be a really tough close combat unit, even against Maori and things like that. I'm still throwing 14 dice plus 4 rerolls on successes, and then the 4 submachine gun shots. But the point cost is quite prohibitive. Also, you can't put 14 guys in a truck. I like to use my veterans in a truck to put them somewhere where it can really just mess up the game plan of the enemy. I don't mind driving a truck full tilt and having it blow up, and the guys pop out into get out into some nice cover, and then sit there for several turns holding things up if it calls for that. I wouldn't want to be a soldier in my command because I throw my guys away pretty harshly sometimes to gain objectives. So I ended up remodeling the list and making the veterans 10-man. The 2 14-man squads, that's a lot of bodies. They've got 4 submachine guns, like I said. They're foot sloggers though, so my goal with them is to probably start them on the board or leave one in reserve and use it as a mini. It's not as much firepower as like a Russian submachine gun squad because they are regulars, so they're a little more squishy. I don't like to go down with 14 guys over and over again just because I feel like there's a lot of points that are locked up in that unit. Obviously if I need to save them I will, but so I'll probably use them on outflank or bring them in from reserve in your traditional kind of like last ditch unit, because they would be tough to get through 14 guys. It'd take a lot of time to grind through them. And then I have just an 8-man regular squad. So it's my only full-strength infantry, not full-strength infantry squad, but it has 2 medium machine gun or 2 light machine guns in it. I'd gone away from light machine guns a bit. With this type of list, this will give me a fire support type of unit with a lot of light machine gun shots, being able to direct at one target. So I'm kind of liking that idea. I had used 6-man squads with 1 light machine gun in them before. I found them to be too soft and not giving enough fire support. The Romanians have their motorized infantry squads can take 2 light machine guns in them. I had also thought about taking a list with a whole bunch of squads with 2 light machine guns in them, but I know my playstyle is more aggressive, and when I tried to use a lot of light machine guns at Adepticon last year with my Romanians, I found myself camping back too much, and then having really to struggle and rush and put things at harm's way to try to gain objectives. So I like to be more aggressive. If the game's over at turn 4 and I get wiped out, then I'll just have my my advanced stuff gets wiped out. Then I just play for a draw. I kind of go for the win, crush my opponent. If it's not successful, I get bogged down. Then I use my other assets to try to play for a draw. That's just my play style. So I'm trying to feed that a little bit. So that's pretty much my infantry. I have a medium mortar. I thought about taking a heavy mortar. I actually purchased a heavy mortar. I don't feel like painting it. Also, I have the medium. I have the medium already done. The medium mortar is a great value. So I'm just going to go with that. It has a spotter. And then I have the Romanians get a free artillery piece. I'm taking a free medium artillery piece. The value for that is just incredible. I took the 10-point spotter upgrade, and then so I've got that for my indirect stuff. And then I have, like I said, 2 trucks that are inexperienced. And then the rest of my army is basically my vehicles. And I've got 2 vehicles. I'm taking the Romanian TACAM tank destroyer. It's nothing. There's nothing cheesy or great about it. It's basically a 7 armor open top with a medium anti-tank gun on it. I wish it had a machine gun, a pintle mount or something machine gun, because a lot of games you end up just needing a machine gun more than anything. I really wanted an armored car. I really like that 221 out of the German book with the Panzerbusch 41 upgrade. But in order to do that, I'd have to take a Panzer IV, which I could in the Romanian list, in the Romanian War in Romania list. The Panzer IV is open for them to take. So I wanted to take the Panzer IV, and I was going to take the 221 with the Panzerbusch 41. I debated on this a long time because I really like that Panzerbusch 41 on a recce wheel vehicle, because you could just, they have to respect you, or you go up and you will get the +6 penetration within 12 inch from their vehicle. And then I would have had a Romanian Panzer IV to work with it. I elected to go against that because you only get one choice out of the German book, and I went with the choice of the Panzer IV from the German book. Same point cost. The FAQ, frequently asked questions or rules errata, specifies in there that if you take a unit out of a different army book, I think in the example they were talking about Hungary, you get all the rules associated with that army book for that piece of equipment. So the Panzer IV out of the German book has Tank Fear, Tiger Fear, and it has the upgraded machine guns, so the 6 shots per medium machine gun. Tiger Fear obviously is what I'm going for more than the machine guns. But so I mean, I was debating have that armored car with the recce, which you can use in conjunction with the tank or not, and gives you quite a bit of mobility firepower, or go with the Panzer IV with the Tiger Fear. And I wanted to use Tiger Fear, so I'm taking the Panzer IV out of the German book. I have to remember to use Tiger Fear. I'm not a big fan of Tiger Fear. I think it slows the game down. I think it makes less of a sportsmanship score, and this is all just hypothetical theory, but I know in other games with other special rules, to have to remind an opponent to do something that is negative to their army gets to be annoying for that person. I encountered that a lot in like Warhammer Fantasy when I used to play that, and it gets to be like, oh yeah. And then obviously you're going to fail a check or two, and it's going to mess up your plan, which even compounds that aggravation more so, because there's not much they can do to negate that other than destroying the Panzer IV. It's all part of the game. I'm going to use it because the way my army list is set up, I think I can expose my Panzer IV, even if they have a good sized tank. I'm planning to probably leave my TACAM in outflank if the scenario calls for it. 115 points with a medium anti-tank gun. It's not going to kill infantry. It's like a 1-inch template unless they're in a building. But it's a tracked vehicle. It's annoying. If they have vehicles and I put it on outflank, they'll have to respect the sides of the board. They won't be able to just have their rear or their flank exposed. And then my Panzer IV should be able to dominate the center of the board if I put it in some hard cover, make them fail some checks, support support with my infantry squads, and that's my game plan. What I don't like about my list is I only have 12 order dice. I prefer usually 16. I feel like one of my strengths as a player is stalling and then bum rushing. I like to stall till I get an order dice advantage where I feel like a push will be successful, or that I can just double up, move the truck up, get the squad out, move another truck up, get the squad out in a pretty succinct order. When you get less order dice and your opponent only have 12 to start the game, and if they're running like 16 or 18, it'll be difficult for my vehicles to gain that advantage that I'm looking for without getting blown apart. What are you going to do, you know? So basically, I'll probably see a lot of games where my veterans are getting shot to pieces as I'm stalling to gain some advantage, try to pick off some order dice, and try to turn it back the other way. I don't have any anti-air, so if there's airplanes, that could be a pain. So I'm really counting on the Panzer IV. So in that same vein, I feel like I normally take light tanks, like a 135 point tank is my max usually, just because I don't like all that points in one asset, and so I'll have to be aggressive with it. I'm planning to be aggressive with it. I'll be aggressive with the TACCAM tank destroyer because it's just a 7 armor open top. Planning bringing in from a side or something and try to get a pot shot on something is my goal. I don't think that this list is. I think this list strength is how I intend to play it. It doesn't have a ton of mobility, but it has some. Doesn't have any big whammies. Like my list I'm planning to take to Snafu, I really like it. In probably 3 out of 5 scenarios, it will be very hard to stop. And in the other scenarios, it'll be up to my gameplay, maybe some decent dice to overcome the shortfalls of it. But we'll see. I just kind of want to take Romanian. So all I have left is some basing on this infantry and these vehicles, and I'm ready to go. So hopefully I can play a little practice game here. Got to get my game board set back up. It's kind of a mess right now, and then see if I can get a practice game in. Alright guys, I just want to get a little update video up, and hopefully we'll go to Operation Sting. I'm sure we'll have a good time. Hopefully I'll get some battle reports up, and maybe I can take home some sort of trophy or something. I know almost everybody won a prize last year. The prize support's incredible. So I did actually win at the local one. Warlord Games did provide some prize support to Ryan, and so I thought that was really nice. It's at the NewCon event, and I ended up walking away with I think an American Infantry squad and a tank. So that was kind of nice. But alright guys, catch you later.